Hi there folks, and this is the Devolo home starter or home control starter pack. This is an all-in-one system that apparently switches off your lighting, heating, electrical devices and all that kind of stuff with a wall switch, must be this one, from your favorite socket, and can do stuff remotely. You can automatically control your heating via a room thermostat, which I also have here. You have maximum control with a smoke detector as well, a motion sensor and door contacts. I don't know if I have that in this set. This is the starter pack, probably with this thrown in. There might be more bits and pieces that you can add to it afterwards. You can automatically switch on lights when you're entering the house, a bit like Google Home. Automatically switch on lights and appliances via a key fob, which I might not have either. And then switch on all devices on the go via your smartphone, tablet or computer. Gain an insight into your current energy consumption, which is always an important thing. So all these devices sort of promise to do what Google Home does. Will be interesting to see if they manage it. And we can see on the side here there's all kinds of other little doohickeys that you can plug in and enjoy. So this is the radiator thermostat that you must attach onto your radiator, and it will control the temperature of the radiator. And it's got a battery powered as well, which might be something more for you to remember to charge. Okay, and in here we've got a couple of different things. We'll have to get it open and see what is actually in here. There's a bunch of blurb on the back if you want to have a pause it and read that. I'm not going to read it out to you because I couldn't be bothered. There you go. There's a QR code for you to go and see the site where you can actually grab this, and the apps are available from the Apple Store, Kindle Fire and Google Play. It's actually one of the first times I've seen it's available on Kindle Fire. So the Devolo app looks fairly simple to use. Central units, all that kind of caper. Okay. It's a very tightly packed box. And the goodies. We have first steps. Okay, so this is a wee manual that just tells you what things are. We'll go through it and we'll pull things out while we're looking at the manual. Okay, first of all, set on top here is a thing. It looks like that thing here. That's quite tightly wrapped up. Doesn't seem to come apart. Not entirely sure what it is at all. But we'll set it there and come back to it later. Wow. Okay, so there's a wee tab there for, must be a battery or something, and this looks like a sensor, much more like that, and that must stick to the side of it somehow. Don't know how. There's a wee switch in here, maybe it's a reset switch, and it says door/window contact. That must be a hook for you to be able to hang it. It does look like it's actually for taking the back off. Maybe you might need to replace the battery in this at some stage. Okie doke. Here we have a big plug, power connector, home plug type affair, that has two buttons on the front that now look like they're upside down. That looks like the way it goes there, although there's an Ethernet port on it, which would make me think that you're going to have an Ethernet cable coming out like that. Well, yeah, because the plug's that way around. Okay, and there's a USB connector as well, possibly for firmware updates, but you'd like to think this would have Wi-Fi or something built into it. There seems to be a speaker grill on the side, heat grills on either side, and then nothing on the bottom, save for a little bit of cardboard. And then two buttons. Screws and adhesive tape. Next up we have another home pluggy type affair, which obviously takes a plug. There's a button on it too. This must be for plugging the light into, and then you tell the smart app to turn said light off, and it turns said light off. Also useful for resetting a router if you can't get access to it and you're in a different house or different place. Always handy. I have a couple of these. That must be a Cat 5e cable. Cat 5e. Okay, so having a look at the start control guide. When planning your home control network, consider the optimal placement of all the devices. Hopefully it explains to you what they are, so you can decide that. Right, so this is the door control window contact. It consists of a sensor and a magnet. So you put this on the door and you put this on the door frame with the screws, I'm guessing, and then the two sit side by side, and whenever they disconnect, this detects that it has been disconnected and sends a signal, which then notifies you that a door has been opened. Very handy. And handily enough, their example here is that you can put this on a window so that whenever you open the window, it'll automatically shut off the radiator. So there's some neat applications that you can have. It's not just home security where someone's actually opened your front door. We don't exactly know what this does. Hopefully there's more instructions in here. I've ignored the bits of paper at the bottom because they felt too flimsy. Declaration of conformity in various different languages. Okay, so right, we're going to have to go back to this. Basic guidelines. Okay, so it handily points out in the instructions here that this is a USB for future application, so it must not be used right now, and then LAN for you to connect this up to your router. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and stick this into the router. Okay, so that's all plugged in. We're just grabbing the application, the Devolo home control app. It's been downloaded 1,000 times and gets a rating of 4.1 out of 5 by 30 people. Looks fairly blue. Finally, an app needs more functions like push notifications, but for version 1, this is decent. Thanks, Juan Lewis. Right, home control. Oh. Okay, and setting up, it needs a little bit of personal information. Okay, so that's us in. But give it my address as well. And now it's asking us to enter the central unit serial number. Okay, so after a little bit of a fiddle, we've managed to get it working. It didn't seem to go through the app, but the internet website was able to take the serial number and then tell me that I needed to hit the tick button just here on the front of the control unit, and now it's updating the firmware automatically and rebooting the device. Something that could have been simply relayed through the app, but... Right, so finally we managed to get this working. We had to go in and do some port forwarding on 3 different UDP and TCP ports in order to get these working, but now they are, and we can finish and add devices. Okay, so in order to get things cracking on, we'll attach this and this, and they're recommending that we use these little pieces here. I don't particularly want to start screwing things into the wall, so we're just going to attach it via the damn screws 3M tape that they provided. How many pieces we get? Oh, we get a few. 3 of each. So obviously the big one goes on this and the small one goes on this. And I'm reckoning this is some kind of fail-safe switch. So whenever if someone was to rip this off the wall, this would let people know that this whole thing has been removed. Okay, so we have to remove this now, and that starts a flashing, and this does a teach-in process that takes about 2 minutes. And that's what this switch is for. Actually, you can initiate the teach-in manually using this button. So perhaps whenever you take it off, it'll automatically start the teach-in system. So we need to attach this to the door. Okay, so now we have added it. We have an entry for Man Cave, which is in the office, and it's closed. It was triggered at 12:09, which is when I set it up. It's currently 27 degrees in here, which is a lot hotter than I thought. The thermostat should be lower. No, never mind. And the brightness is 5%. Battery is 100%. Statistics. Oh, the touchscreen isn't working again. We're getting a little bit of German popping through here. Okay, so next up is the plug. Okay, so now we're logged into the application and it's showing that it's 9 degrees in Bangor. Precipitation is 5%. And last update was today at 12:02. With any luck, we should be able to bring up some of our devices. There we go, we've got the Man Cave door office closer thing. It tells us it's currently closed. It was triggered at 12:11. Temperature is 25 degrees and the brightness is 5%. I suppose it is quite dark over there, isn't it? And the battery is full. There we go, there's a graph. Right, so dashboard, we want to add a new device. Okay, so adding a new device. We've got the door window contact, flood sensor, humidity sensor, remote control, motion sensor, radio thermostat, room thermostat, siren, smart metering plug, smoke detector wall switch. What was the smart metering plug? Okay, so prepare your device. You're going into combat. You're going to do this right. We're going to plug you in and plug something else into you, and you're going to do it and feel the pain. Okay, so what we've done is we're going to plug this into this, and we're going to plug the camera battery charger into this, just so we can turn it off and on. There's a charge light here, and that's flashing red. So the device has been prepared. There's a sentence now that's not quite showing. If I hit next, insert your smart metering plug into the desired power outlet. Now we're on the same power line as the home control unit, so I'm hoping this is going to pick it up automatically and I don't have to do stuff. If the red LED stops flashing, the smart metering plug is logged into your home control unit, which looks successful. Please watch this video. Oh, it was paired successfully. Okay, brilliant, we didn't have to do anything. Location is in the office, and we have a symbol. We'll try and change it away from that wee round thing because I don't particularly like it. It's not effective of the power. Oh right, you could actually plug this foregang into this. That would be a nice idea. We'll just do it as that because I'll take that out and put this into it. Okay, and add to our show and dashboard. So we now have camera battery currently off, and we can turn it on. There was a light click from it, and we're now charging. Simple as. Power 1.7 watts, and it'll meter the amount that's going through there with 0.0 kilowatts just now, so we can turn it off again, and that'll stop the charging. Beautiful. The application of this is, because these do cost quite a bit of money, you have to think about what you really want to turn off and on. You can't just have any old thing plugged into it. You know, if you're going away on holiday, obviously you'll have this set up. The idea of just being able to throw it in, hit a button, and it actually syncs to your system is really nice. I have another one of these, and every time you plug it in, you have to actually go into the application, search for it, hit the WPS button and connect it to the internet, which isn't very nice. This one just works because it's on the same circuit. Now it would be different if I was to take this into the house, I'm sure, because it's on a separate electrical circuit, and I might have to do something else in order to get it to work. However, I'm not going to look into that at the moment. And I didn't actually check and see what that button does. So if we have her plugged in, we turn her on. If we press this, it turns it off and it updates the app. That's nice. Nice little touch. So you can turn it off manually if you're sitting next to it. So next up is the Radiator Thermostat. Now this one I'm a little concerned about because I don't like the idea of having to mess around with my radiators because they're all on a central thermostat, which is a wireless one. However, out here in the garage we have a boiler which has a timer on it as opposed to thermostats. Okay, so home control radiator thermostat. First steps, how to install. There you got your central unit and this attached to the radiator. I'm really hoping that it's not too difficult to put this onto the radiator. The radiator is controlled electronically via the home central unit, blah blah blah. So we have two batteries that go inside it like so. Okay, radiator control. And two batteries provided. So we have button up, down. No, they don't actually function. So this doesn't connect directly into the power socket. So this will rely on some form of Wi-Fi connection between it and the home central unit. So you put your batteries in, we'll do that now. And we have a little Allen key provided as well. There we go, batteries in. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and attach it to the radiator and then we'll come back up and have a look at the app. Okay, so it has been successfully installed on the radiator. Was really easy to do, and this bit was actually kind of funky where you hold the button in for 3 seconds and then it automatically pulls tight on the socket. Now I didn't have to use all the bits on it because my radiators must be a different fitting, because there was the bit with the Allen key that wasn't necessary, that didn't fit on my radiator. I think that might be for possibly older radiators that might not have this connector here. So now we need to attach it to the home control center. After you've successfully installed the home control radiator thermostat, continue with its electronic registration to the control unit when you plug in the home control unit. Okay, so here we are. The camera battery is showing us off because I have now unplugged it. We're going to devices and we're going to add another one, and this is the radiator thermostat. Prepare your device. Press the function button again for approximately 1 second to register the thermostat. Okay, so we didn't quite get anything to say that it had been synced. The app just hung for a while, so I went back out and back in again, and the device details is showing up that, and I'm hoping that that's coming from the thermostat. It says the battery's 94% with 2 new batteries that I've just put in it. 94% might be about right if it's been doing all this syncing and that kind of stuff, but I don't know, I guess we'll just have to carry on with this. It's not saying, it didn't ask me to put in any name or details or stuff like that. I can do that now afterwards, but it might have just been the app having a wee bit of a problem. So there we go, we've now changed it to man cave heat. And we'll put it down because we're men. We don't want to waste heat and power and money whenever we don't have to. We can go and put a cardigan on or something equally manly. Chainmail. Yeah, we wear chainmail in our man cave. Okay, so now we have a bunch of things all set up. It was fairly simple to do. It had its quirks along the way, but nothing really to get too bent out of shape over. And we can add a whole host more, and I'll put links in the notes below for where you can get these things if you're interested in setting up your own smart home. I would say that this is probably a better solution than something like Google Home, which does offer similar things. However, I imagine the prices of the likes of Nest and that sort of thing to be a great deal more. Some people may say that Devolo is not a company that they've heard of, and they might not want to have to go and invest money on this sort of thing to have them decide it's not a good business venture and back out after a year's time. But you know, that's part of the risk of technology these days, is taking a gamble and going with a name that you might not recognize. I'm quite happy with these so far, and I'm considering actually getting a few of the other ones that are available. One thing Devolo could have done is included a catalogue of what all these things are about, but I suppose they have their website here. You don't need to print something whenever you can send them to a website instead to find out what there is. But these do look quite interesting. You've obviously got a light switch there, which I would be quite interested in looking at, and then the key fob as well to be able to control things from there. Yeah, there's all kinds of different sensors and things. I do like the idea of entering into an ecosystem that is based purely on this, as opposed to having to rely on something like if this then that to pull all of your smart gadgets together. So, well, thanks very much to Devolo, and we'll keep an eye on just exactly how things go with these. Okay, so thanks for watching. Take care now.